What's up, YouTube? Erod212 here with another video. So, my boys, the Pressable Defects, tagged me on top 10 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And I thought it was a great idea. If you haven't checked out their video, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. And I'm going to be tagging 2, maybe 3 people at the end of this video. Let's see how it goes along, and we'll do it like that. Now, you know, we all love the MCU. What it's become since its inception is amazing, just how much that the MCU has grown. But let's go straight out. I'm going to start out with number 10. So number 10 for me is Civil War. I know a lot of people had this higher up on their list, but there were just so many movies that mean more to me. But this is a great movie. I mean, the Black Panther and Spider-Man just steal this movie. Especially Spider-Man, like that whole scene where he's chasing and fighting with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just phenomenal. The whole Black Panther car chase scene, and on top of that, we get Giant Man in this movie. So that's number 10 on my list. Number 9 is going to be Infinity War. It brought everything that we were waiting to see and the whole Thanos issue to light. Besides that, you get some tear-jerking movies. I remember being in the theater, and when the snap happens, and you got Peter Parker, it's disintegrating, and he's holding on to Mrs. Stark, and women were crying in the theater. There were actually kids crying in the theater. When did you think a Marvel movie would make people cry? So that's number 9. Number 8 is going to be Doctor Strange. I love Doctor Strange. As a comic reader, never ever a fan of Doctor Strange. And that's the funny thing about the MCU. They took B, C, and D-list characters and made them household names. Doctor Strange was never an A-list character. Popular in this 60s when Ditko was doing all his trippy stuff with him. But he was kind of that vibe that you had to be into it. I wasn't into it, but I love this origin story. Everything with Wong and the Ancient One. Just a great movie. One of my top favorite origin stories that Marvel's done. Number 7, Thor Ragnarok. Now, this movie, I think, saved the character that Chris Hemsworth plays. Thor, to me, was kind of boring. People might disagree, but first Thor movie's okay. Second Thor movie, trash to me. And, just a boring character. They gave him fresh life. They did kind of a buddy pick. Took a little bit of World War Hulk, mixed it in there. Besides that, second best soundtrack in the MCU. Nothing better than when he's coming through and you hear it 2 times in the movie and they play the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. Fantastic. Number 6 is going to be Endgame. It brings the person that so many children are going to relate to as Peter Parker for the rest of their lives into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It also gives us a great villain in the Vulture. Michael Keaton kills it. It shows a different side of humanity and how, the destruction of everything that happened and armament and how this guy basically gets taken out by Stark Industries, loses his job, and now all of a sudden he's got to hustle to make a living. Does he do it the wrong way? Yes, he does, but still, interesting story. Just a lot of good little holes in the stories that are filled up. Everything ties in really neatly in that. Besides that, you get the super hot Aunt May, Number 4, the movie that starts it all, Iron Man. Without this movie, there is no MCU. If this movie fails, there is no MCU. I will repeat it again. No MCU. It is a great origin story. Black Sabbath at the end playing Iron Man. Just Robert Downey Jr. was born to play this role. Remember, he was down and out for a long time, and this movie resurrects his career and makes him a household name. Again, another character, C-list character, part of the Avengers, yes, but his book never carried a lot of weight, and now this character is forever beloved. It's just one of those iconic characters. How many people wept when he passed, Just, it was a tearjerker, and this movie starts it all off. I mean, and it was done well. Gave it a little bit of a modern twist, but when he builds the original Iron Man armor, and he shows up with that original Iron Man armor, like in Tales of Suspense, oh my God, lost my mind. And then when he gets the new Stark armor and everything else, just amazing. Good stuff. Number 3 was a movie that shocked me. I went into this movie with no expectations, went with my sons to see this movie, and didn't know anything about it. Now, I know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, but I had not read this iteration of Guardians of the Galaxy. So as you can see, number 3 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 1 soundtrack in the MCU. You took a raccoon and a tree and made them household names, because Rocket and Groot are household names with children. And then you created Baby Groot, and the world went crazy. It was everything you want to see. Gamora was great in this. The whole Star-Lord series, the story with Star-Lord and the backstories that were behind this, tying it all together, bringing Yondu, who was an original member of the Guardians. All just super, super good stuff. It's a movie that anytime it's on, I could just leave it playing in the background, peek up at it, and just by, hearing certain scenes, we all do the same thing. I look up and see some of my favorite scenes. It's just that good a movie. Number 2, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if this movie doesn't work the way Iron Man creates the MCU, if this movie doesn't work, we do not get the epic films that we get. And for that reason, and some more that I'll touch on, Avengers is my number 2 movie. Remember, you had all of those end credit scenes where Nick Fury was going around basically recruiting all of the Avengers. And then you see Hawkeye in Thor, and you see Black Widow in Iron Man 2. And you're just getting the feeling all of these characters are coming. It's coming. And when they finally all come together, besides that, it has probably the best theme music that was created for the MCU. Who doesn't know that theme? It's used throughout. And in my opinion, the Hulk steals the movie. When they unite as a team, that's great. But when Banner pulls up in the motorcycle, oh my God, remember? And Cap tells him, we're going to need you, Doc. We're going to need you, Dr. Banner. And he's like, and he goes into the whole thing about that's my secret. I'm always angry. And when the Hulk starts smashing, because Cap tells him to smash, iconic. I lost my mind. When he rips out the head, just rips out the droid's head and everything, it just throws it. It's amazing. And then what better scene than when the Hulk goes on a rampage and he grabs Loki and just starts body slamming him. To this day, it brings a chuckle to my, tears to my heart, because it's such a great scene. But without that movie, we do not have the grand scale epic movies that we have now in the MCU. And my number 1 movie, because I think it is the perfect movie, one of my all-time favorite characters, and the way they did this was The Winter Soldier. When I came back into collecting comics, the Ed Brubaker run was one of the first books that I read, and I fell in love with the Winter Soldier. I knew about Bucky, but the way they brought it all back, the way they tied it into this movie with espionage, that whole scene when they invade the boat and the Black Widow drops down and she's taking everybody out, or Captain America fighting Batroc the Leaper. Batroc the Leaper is a minor character from Tales of Suspense. To see this guy on a big screen having this epic battle with Cap, just blew my mind. Great spy thriller. Elevator scene is the best scene in the movie by far. One of my all-time favorite scenes, although they have a lot. Zola's in it. It's just, in my opinion, a perfect movie. That's why I'm picking this movie as my number 1 MCU movie. Will it change? I don't think number 1's ever going to get bumped out. It's going to have to be something incredible for me. But everybody has a different opinion. So let me know what you guys think about that. And you know what? Let's tag some guys in the community. First off, I'm going to tag, of course, my boy Big East Comics, home of the New York Warriors, because I want to see what they have to say. I'm going to tag the crew from East Meets West. All right, Josh Grav and Joker M21 and that crew. Let's see what they have to say. And let's switch it up a little bit and bring another channel that does very well, and I like his content. We're going to tag Bryce Comics. You 3 guys have been tagged, so let's see what you guys can produce with this, all right? So my next video, peace.